Welcome back to my interview series once again in the world of VAIL. We've done this a few times already, so I'm not going to explain what we do again. What I am do is going to introduce our newest guest, AJ. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty damn well. Am I allowed to curse?
Yes.
Gotta get that out of the way? Alright, got that.
So, first of all, before we start, why don't you go ahead and fully introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm AJ. I'm a content creator on YouTube. Oh my god, if my phone could shut up. Hold on. Hi, I'm AJ. I'm a content creator on YouTube. I've made quite a few VAIL videos, and I just kind of do my own thing. You might have seen some of my stuff. You probably haven't. But I like to play VAIL a lot. I was in comp. I didn't do so well. But we're here now, and I'm ready to get on with this.
What made you start playing VAIL?
So this is actually a pretty funny story. It kind of goes back to contractors in a way. I was playing the TF2 VR mod, and I met this guy named Ramy the Bread King, and we just kind of hit it off. We became great friends like immediately and started playing TF2 VR. And eventually he was like, "Hey, do you have VAIL yet? Because they just released an alpha for the Quest." And I was like, "No, I didn't. It's been on my wish list for a while, but I haven't gotten around to actually buying it yet." He says, "You should." And so I did. I got VAIL, I started playing, I got my ass handed to me a few times, and then I found myself having a lot of fun. So we made a video together, and less than a day later, Tropical, the CEO, he pushed the video in the Discord server. I'll see your crush down. There you go. Okay. But he pushed the video in the Discord server, and I was like, wow! And that just kind of put me out there in the beginning, and I started playing VAIL a lot more ever since.
You kind of answered this question with the alpha thing, but
Yeah.
How long have you been playing VAIL?
I can't place a timeline on it because I'm really bad at remembering like specific times, but I did start playing right after the Quest Alpha came out. That was back when you had to apply to get access to it on Quest. It was before it was on App Lab, and it was after the whole mess with the Unreal Engine 4 and 5 update. But I started playing shortly after the Quest Alpha started becoming a thing and people were applying for that.
What do you like the most about VAIL?
I have a lot of fun with the community. There's a lot of things that I really like. I really like the gunplay, physics are just really cool and nice to have. It's really fun to use like an AK and actually have your magazine collide when you're trying to mag slap. It's a little minor nitpick that I've had, and the physics-based combat is just something I've had a lot of fun with. But again, I also like the community. It's really nice to meet really cool people here, and the devs are really in touch with their community as well, and it's always a pleasure to see that.
What is one of your least favorite things about VAIL?
It's kind of a hard question because there's not a lot of things about VAIL that have made me say, oh my god, I hate that and I don't want it to happen. But a few things that oh god, get out of here. A few things that I don't really like are some of the more toxic players, some of the players that are really mean about them, and they're like, oh, I got a 4.0 KD, you should just quit the game or whatever. And there's just a handful of things, and it mostly just comes down to specific people doing very specific things. It's not anything that has to do with the game or the people behind it.
What kind of content creator are you?
That's kind of a tough question because I always wanted to be like a general content creator. I kind of wanted to dabble in a little bit of everything, but I got a pretty good tip from some famous YouTubers who were like, you got to stick to something, you got to kind of find something. And so I started just making gaming videos, mostly for me and my friends to watch, and that somehow took off. I had my prime back in 2020. I was averaging like 20 viewers a stream. I was growing. Oh, again, I wanted to kind of branch out and do some things. I started making gaming videos for me and my friends to watch, and that just kind of took off for a little while. And then I was in a slum for a long time because I had started a pretty prestige school that I was kind of focused on. But eventually I did fall back on YouTube, and I didn't have as much success. But then I started playing VR games, and I started getting connections with people, and now I think I'm starting to build back up on that. So, I mean, if you really want to ask me, if you want a simple question, you want a simple answer, it's gaming. But, more complex, I've kind of been around everywhere.
Why did you start making content on VAIL?
Specifically on VAIL, I just thought, like, I was playing with Bread King, and I was like, you know what, let's hop in a private lobby and just dick around for a little while and see what happens. and we were just giggling and laughing the whole time. We weren't actually playing VAIL the way that like it was made to be played. We weren't playing Artifact or any specific game mode. We were just like goofing off and playing, I guess. And after that first video and like seeing Tropical post it, I was like, you know what? I like this game. I'm gonna actually start playing it to play it and see if I can show off my skills or anything like that. And eventually, I'm here.
What is your favorite part about making content?
I think it comes down to really like seeing people's reaction to it. I think like I do find myself a little bummed out when videos flop or when people watch the videos and they don't leave comments and stuff like that, because I'm like, I don't know how you felt about it, and it's not giving me a lot of room to improve on anything that I haven't already been told a lot. So I guess I just find it really fun to interact with my community and see what they think of my content. I guess I think that's more fun than actually like getting down, recording, and playing the game.
Do you have any advice for newer content creators?
Most of my advice comes from people who gave me advice, so I can't really take credit for it. But I'd say stick to what you like to make so you don't get bored of it. Don't overdo yourself. And there's 3 rules that you kind of want to stick to, which is assume that everyone who watches your video has no idea who you are. You're gonna want to, be able to grapple on anyone who watches your videos for the first time. Second, stick to what is performing well, because if people want to see specific content and you want to succeed and you want to actually build upon that, you're gonna have to do things that are doing well. And third is to try your best to have fun with it. It's pretty easy to get burnt out, but if you still try to enjoy playing even while recording, you'll find yourself having a lot more fun than if you're thinking of it as another chore, another thing just to do.
Here are the comp questions. First of all, nowadays, are you involved in comp at all?
I was in Senshi for a while. I'm currently not in the Discord server, so either they kicked me or I left and I forgot that I did. So currently I'm not on a team, and having played with more comp players now that the VRML matchmaking server has gone up has really knocked my confidence down a peg or two. So I don't know if I'm going to be playing comp for Season 2. I might try to get a bit better so that I could eventually reach that level, because I've heard a lot of comp players say, hey, if you train like a bit more, you definitely have the potential. And so maybe sometime in the future, but not right now. I'm not playing comp, no.
Do you play a role for your team? And if so, what is that role?
I was always partial to being a planter, because it kind of let me stay a little bit back while my team handled the main heat of the battle. I always found myself struggling when I'm at the front and suddenly like 3 guys come out of nowhere. I don't know how to handle that, but apparently my teammates do. So I always found it easier for me to stay back while they kind of cleared the area, and I would eventually find my way to a site and plant. That was just something I was always pretty good at.
How hard is it to be introduced into VAIL?
It can feel like a donkey kick sometimes. It honestly depends how your first few matches go. You could get into a lobby with a bunch of comp players, and that's never fun, because you do have to play against harder players to get better, but when those players are significantly better than you, you don't really learn anything from playing, except for maybe a few tactics that they try that they already have counters for. So it can be really challenging if you get like comp players. I started playing with Bread King, and one of the first people I ever met was Sentry, and he's fairly good, at least in retrospect when I first started playing. But I started getting better from playing with more people like that, and there is definitely a bit of a skill ceiling that needs to be overcome, and there's a bit of a learning curve. But once you start to get there, I feel you start steadily sailing through it. It becomes easier the more that you play.
What is your opinion on VAIL's lore and story?
Ooh, okay. This has always been something that fascinated me as a sort of story writer. I've had to build a whole world for one character that I drew in a sketchbook when I was 12. terrible drawing, but I had to build a whole world around him just to have it make sense. And seeing VAIL and all the story that's gone behind the scan wars and like where things take place and everything like that, seeing why this is all happening is definitely an interesting feat. I sat at the website and I like ran through it for like half an hour, like reading everything on it, started learning about the sub factions and why they're there. And I can honestly, I just say wow, because I don't know what else I could say. I think it's really cool. I like the lore behind it. Definitely a lot of world building, and the maps, like there's story in the maps as well, which I find really cool. And sometimes when you see like dev items like the Trot Mask or just random goofy items like the Cat Mask as well, it kind of takes away from that because you're thinking like you start to piece like, where is this in the lore? But if you look at the lore as a whole and you kind of generalize it, I find it to be really fun to look into and really interesting.
If you had one thing to say to either the VAIL developers or the community as a whole, what would you say?
I love you guys, because I feel like you want me to explain this. So I've always found community to be something that can make or break a game, and for VAIL, it definitely helps make it a lot. Seeing comp players be nice to newer players who have the respect and maturity to not be little screeching Timmies and stuff like that. You know, people who have like the decency and like genuinely want to play, people are often really nice to you, and that's a very welcoming feeling, especially when you're getting your butt kicked 5 games in a row. And to the devs, I really appreciate everything that they're doing to cater the game towards everyone, their community, as well as players who want to see more features in general. Having them so involved in the game and not like, oh, we're going to ignore everything that the players say, you know, and do whatever we want, Blizzard or Activision. But, you know, like, they're not like other AAA companies, and I feel like that's a breath of fresh air, because it's just so nice to see them all involved, and I forget that the knives respawn now, which is such a cool thing. Thank you, developers. But I can honestly just appreciate all the work that goes into the game and how much that both the developers and the community care about the well-being of the game and the people who play it. So that's always something I've been able to be like, wow, I love that.
So before I let you go, do you want to tell everyone where we can find you?
Oh, good question. I play VAIL a lot. Sometimes I take breaks. I mean, honestly, I've had maybe 3 people stream snipe me the past 2-3 days. I streamed my attempts grinding back up to level 50, which I did eventually do. I stream on YouTube. I'm sure you'll put a link in the description somewhere. I stream and upload videos on YouTube. And you could probably just find me in game randomly. I'm trying to think of people who stream snipe me were Isabel, Rev, Kale stream sniped me a couple times. You know, I've had a few people stream snipe me these past couple days, so it's definitely not hard to find me.
Okay, well, that's gonna about do it. Thank you, all of you watching this video right now. Thank you, AJ, for coming on and speaking with us. If you want to check him out, I will leave every social media that he's willing to share with me down in the description below, so if you want to go and watch his stuff, you can watch it right down there below. Thank you all for watching. This is Gloopy, signing off.